Ideas, imagination, inspiration, MacroWorld. Here's your host, Ray Scott.
Good to see you. Thanks for dropping by. Today on MacroWorld, we are going to be taking a look at macro roses. Now, to be perfectly honest, my original intention was to use tulips for this project, but when I got to the flower store, roses, they were just exactly what I was looking for, and you're going to see why. So this is part one, actually, where we're going to be taking a look at some classic treatments for macro roses, and then in part two, we'll be adding a little something to that equation. I'm not going to tell you what it is right now, but anyway, this is part one today. Roses up close. Let's show you the setup to get started.
Right off the bat, we can see that we're using a light on the left. And that's just for some shadow detail that it will build. All right, we've got a black background. You see a light in the back, but we're not lighting the black background. It's off. You don't have to use a black background naturally. But the whole idea with this project is to get in really close, get that macro lens or whatever, however you're getting up close, extension tubes, and get up close to that lens to get that first shot, which is going to be a classic shot. And here it is. You've seen this before, but we're going to do other things too, and we're going to take a look at that right now.
So now that you've seen my basic setup, let's take a look at what we can get out of macro roses. Not just the classic look, but maybe something that you weren't expecting. And it's all about experimentation. Let's take a look.
So there's that shot again, the classic shot, the shot that we've all seen before with the rose as we see the beautiful swirls of the flower. But what if we turn it on a bit of an angle and look at it that way? Now it's a little bit different. There's a little bit more of a dynamic quality to it as we use the diagonal just a little bit. And it shows off the flower in a little bit of a different way. Or dig in a little deeper, get even closer, and start to look at the fabric of the flower. Now, the blue flower. Look how gorgeous that is. And in this one, what we're trying to do is we're trying to highlight not only the beautiful swirls of the rose and not only the color of the blue, but now you want to look at that purple and magenta and the actual veins in the flower. That's just something that you really don't see on this scale when you're looking at it with the naked eye. I mean, you can see them. You can see the beauty with the naked eye. But when you're in close with a macro lens and we're doing macro photography, look at what you can see. It's amazing. And those veins are just beautiful. Here again, highlighting the veins and getting the texture of the flower. Or here, now we reduce the depth of field and we start to have lots of areas of blurriness and just a little bit in focus. So there's most of it actually is out of focus and it creates a real softness. Now, the other thing to note here is that the flower is on an angle. It's certainly not straight on. And also on the left, you see the orange, and that's from the other rose. But because I'm using such a shallow depth of field, it's just one blur of orange. But it adds a different kind of color to the image. So we have more than just the blue and what's going on with the bluish rose. Or you can dial it in a little bit differently. And again, a relatively shallow depth of field here allows you to start getting inside the rose almost a little bit on the edge of it. And you can see the orange rose on the left. And because there's a little bit more of a depth of field, you can see a little bit of the swirl of that one too. Just to create something a little bit different, just to show off the flower in a different form than just the classic way. Not that there's anything wrong with the classic way. Okay, another really shallow depth of field. Now mostly everything is out of focus. It's almost a little surreal, but you're dialing in, you're really close here. And you're looking at a flower in a completely different way than the naked eye can see it, and in a different way than you usually see a flower. So you're showing it off in a different way. It can be kind of interesting and a little bit abstract, and you know me, love the abstract photography. Or here. Now you're using that black background to its full effect. The flower is almost on its side. you're seeing the flower in a completely different way. And because you have the black background, you have this tremendous contrast. And for me, it adds impact. And of course, look at the veins in it. Oh, you see all the beautiful colors.
Different angles, different depths of field, different focus points, all kinds of different possibilities with macro roses. I hope you enjoyed part 1. Part 2 will be coming your way soon, and we'll be adding something a little bit different, and it will have a completely different look. So stay tuned for that. Until next time, I'm Ray Scott, reminding you to shoot small and think big.